Hello everyone, I figured we'd do a video. I waited until really late though. It's evening time here at my house and it's turned off really cold and it looks like it might rain, which it's looked like that all day long, but it might actually start raining. Hopefully we'll get done with this video before it does start raining. I'm out here in my flip-flops, so I've got pants on and a t-shirt. But like I said, it's turned off really cool out here. So I'm going to try to do this video and stuff while we're out here. But we'll see how much of it we can get done. It is very cold though. I don't have long sleeves on. This was a long sleeve shirt at one point in time, but I always cut everything off because I don't like nothing to make me feel like tight or restricted on me. When it comes to clothing, I like to be comfortable and I don't like to burn up and be hot all the time. So anyways, for this video, the topic of this video, it's going to be my prepping dry goods wish list, what it would take to survive 2 years for my family when SHITF happens, or any kind of disaster situation or scenario, apocalypse, or whatever you want to call it. Anything like that was to happen, I sit and I figured it up around abouts what it would take just to survive a 2-year span of time on just mostly dry goods, you know, stuff that you would keep in your pantry or whatnot, whatever. Anyways, those of you who haven't, I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out in all shapes and forms. And this is not like a wish list, like meaning, hey, somebody go buy me this stuff or nothing like that. This is just, like I said, just like in a scenario situation. If something was to happen, this is just something like a dream list, if you want to call it that, or like an ideal of what it would take to survive. You know, because I don't think we ever, or some of us probably don't ever actually sit and calculate up just what all it does take if something like that was to happen. And I do think that we will see times like that where certain situations and things will happen. Whenever the better off prepared we will be is going to be very important someday. So anyways, number one, cases of water for cats, humans to drink and cook with. I didn't figure up to bathe in. 280 cases, bottles, jugs, etc. will last my family for 2 years without having to use them to bathe in. That's 70 cases every 6 months and 140 cases every year. And the reason how I figured this up, I actually went through something similar to this back in the July flood of 2022. Around here, whenever that flood happened, all the water lines and stuff broke around here, and it took them like a long time to fix it. If I'm not mistaken, I think in order to repair everyone's water lines and stuff around here, it took about 2 months or longer, but I could be wrong. It might have even been longer than that. I know it took longer for the water to start working around here after that big flood than what it did the power in my area at the time. And I remember back then, I think I had stocked up on, because they were giving away water to people at some places around here, and I had stocked up on, just for my family, about 43 cases of water back then. And those 43 cases of water lasted me for 6 months. And that was back then before I had cats. I didn't have not one single cat or animal in the house to take care of. And we did use that to cook with too during that time for a while. until they got the water back working. So that's kind of how I figured it up and did the math on that, in case if you all were wondering. So I have kind of been through something like that before. Water is an extremely important item to stock up on or get it in whatever shape and form you would get it in. And when it comes to me, and it comes to me with prepping, obviously I can't afford to do that stuff right now. Like I said, this is just kind of like a dream list or wish list, whatever you want to call it. I don't actually mean for people to just go out here and buy me this stuff. I'm just talking and making a video about it, my point of view from what little bit of my experiences I've dealt with this kind of similar stuff too. And like I said, I do believe in my beliefs, in my religion. I am a Bible believing person. I am a Bible believing believer. And I do believe that we will see times like this someday where it's going to be a lot about what you prep and barter and trade. And I just think that's a smarter way of living, anyways, for people to kind of go back to the older days if they can and live out of their pantries, so to speak, if they can. But I know everybody can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do that right now either. But anyways, let's move on. Number 2, and I'm basing my list on stuff that I use, and I don't use all this stuff, obviously, or buy this stuff monthly, obviously. And I did put in plenty of room for lenient room, like meaning extras of some of these items and stuff for the 2-year span. And that's all I figured up stuff was a 2-year span. And I mostly did figure up stuff to include my cats too. And right now I still have, I think I have 7 or 8 cats in the house. So, anyways, number 2, canned tuna using 24 cans a month at 4 months. That's 96 cans. So, for 2 years of that rate, I would need 576 cans of tuna. Right now, I try to get the tuna with olive oil in it. That comes in a 4-pack at around $8. For shelf life purposes, I would start getting the tuna in water instead. Honestly, like I said, I don't even get that stuff that much right now, because right now obviously I can't afford it, but that would be ideal, you know. And I do prefer to eat healthier whenever I can, me personally or whatever. But like I said, if you're prepping for a disaster scenario or situation or whatever, you would want to get it in water for shelf life purposes. And the tuna that I'm talking about in prepping in this video, I'm not talking about that for the animals. I'm talking about that for me and anyone else in my family that wants to eat it. And I've done up my math kind of over here on this sheet of paper, if any of y'all would have wanted to look at that or whatever, for all these items. Number 3, canned peas. 50 cans would last my family 2 months. And like I said, we don't use that much, but I'm just kind of giving extras and being a little bit extra about this, you know. I'm just acting like if we was to cook this stuff every day and use up it every day, this is what we would need to have. So 200 cans would last us 8 months. So I would need 450 cans of peas to last my family 2 years. Number 4, canned beans, green beans, corn, different variations. I would need around 450 cans of each to last my family for 2 years to eat and cook with, to make soups, chilies, stews, dinners, etc. And like I said on all of these, I am being very lenient like meaning I'm asking or I'm putting down extras in this video for a 2-year span of time and maybe a little bit more. Number 5, boxed or canned various broths to cook with, etc. 8 months worth would be 96 of each. So for 2 years worth, I would need 240 of each item. And like I said in the beginning of this video, all these items in this video is for prepping for dry goods or jarred goods or canned goods. I don't feel like I enjoy canning like jellies and stuff or whatever, but I think even if I did have the money or if I was rich or whatever, we're just saying for instance, I still think I would prefer, call me lazy or whatever you want to call me, but I think I would prefer to still just, if I was going to be a prepper or wanted to prep up a stockpile, I think I would still just prefer to stock up on canned and dry goods instead of having to do all the work and labor of canning up jars of stuff. You know, I think canned jars looks pretty, but I know it's a lot of work. Like I said, I do enjoy making canned jellies from the jars though. Number 6, I would need 240 packs a piece of each item when it comes to spices, salad dressings, mayonnaise, pickles, gravy packs, dry pasta noodles, dry muffin mix, oats, pancake mix, cream of wheat, hard candy, oils, chocolate chips, jellies, tomato sauces, tomato juice, condiments, sugars, various salts and peppers, jarred jellies, veggies, or jarred vegetables, spaghetti sauce, canned mixed vegetables, dry beans, rice, etc. And I don't really enjoy or eat that much rice. Neither one of my girls really eat a whole lot of rice either. We're just not big time rice eaters. But we would need 240 of each of those things to last us for a 2-year span of time. It looks like the little light's starting to come on now too. I'll try to hurry, speed it up. Number 7, I would need 576 cans of chicken, salmon, and beef to last my family for 2 years. We do not get this stuff either, like I'm talking about in this video. I'm just saying for a what if situation, in a kind of dream situation, if a person was to cook this stuff and use this stuff every day for a 2-year span of time, this is what they would need. It's a lot. It is a lot. Number 8, dry milk and powdered eggs. I would need 280 boxes of each to last for 2 years. In a disaster scenario, and it would be ideal if a person could afford it, I would love to have my own little like micro mini farm and have chickens and whatever like that fresh that I could have, you know, before the crap hits the fan, so to speak, you know. Number 12, cat food and cat litter to last for 2 years. I would need 376 of each. That's food and litter for my cats to provide for them to last for 2 years. Because I did figure that in here where I do have pets. Number 9, I would need 450 jars of Alfredo sauce to last both of my daughters for a 2-year span of time. That's something that both of my daughters really love and enjoy is Alfredo sauce, and they do almost eat that stuff about every other day. Number 10, trash bags to last for 2 years, I would need about 100 boxes of trash bags. And I didn't put it on here, but that's also for like your Ziploc bags. I would include that, your aluminum foil, your parchment paper, um, anything that you're going to be using that's like a paper or whatever you use to cook with, besides like something you eat or whatever. But I go through trash bags every day. Sometimes I take out a bag of trash maybe sometimes like 2 or 3 times a day. So I go through a lot of trash bags. And for prepping for a 2 year span of time, I would need at least 100 boxes of trash bags just for myself. And I didn't even figure it up in here on this video, but that's something that I really should have put down here is I'm not basing this on if the water's not working or if the plumbing's not working or the power's not off or whatever. But I should have figured that up in here too for a 2 year span. But if you had to put that in here too, let's say you had to use a bucket to use the bathroom in because your plumbing or whatever all of a sudden quit working, you would have to put in a lot more extras with that, you know. So, and like rubber gloves and stuff to clean with, cleaning supplies and all that stuff. So, let's move on. Number 11. We're almost done and it is getting dark out here. So, let's move on. Let's keep on trucking it. Number 11. Baking supplies such as Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil, and parchment paper to last for 2 years, like we just got done talking about or mentioning about. So, I didn't figure up the exact number on that. I left it off of here, but I have no clue, to be honest. I just know that it's a lot more than I thought it was. And in here at the end, I have a little note I wrote. I didn't add in lighters, gas, laundry detergent, soaps, dishwash, or oil lamps, fuel, etc. So there's a whole lot of stuff when it comes to prepping that I know I just didn't think about, or even realize that that's how much you have to have of something to last for 2 years, for a 2 year span of time. I mean, that's just for 2 years. Could you even imagine like 5 years or 10 years or whatever? I guess if something was to happen and last that long, we need to really start learning, is all I know. We need to go back to the olden days about a couple centuries ago and start really trying to figure out things. But anyways, this is where I've did my math at, if y'all want to kind of look at that. I don't know if you can see it or not where it's getting so dark out here now. But I would appreciate it if you would please like this video. And I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye bye. Well, I don't know why it's not letting me stop record.